to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. Aries ascendant, sun or moon. This new beginning is going to be in your 11th house of friends, groups, your hopes, dreams, and wishes, elder siblings or uncles. This is the area where you're going to feel this new moon very intensely and also perhaps have some challenges. Some of you may decide to start a charity to help people who are less privileged or others who have been disenfranchised. You will be fighting for their rights. For others, it might be time for you to rethink your hopes, dreams, and wishes. They might not be the same as they were last year. You might need some revisions or to go over some information about how you're actually going to have these brand new starts with your hopes and dreams. Since the 11th house is also the house of gains, some of you will actually have a very profitable friendship, and you could gain by collaborating with someone who has been your friend for a very long time. This new moon could manifest in a different way for different types of people. Whichever way it manifests, it is going to be a new beginning with 11th house issues. Other things that you could begin at this time are things like joining a new social media platform. You could begin a business online. Some of you will start a new YouTube channel. Well, some of you could make new friendships that will bring substantial change in your life. Mercury is going retrograde in your 11th house, squaring Mars, who's transiting Taurus, your 2nd house. This is a point of friction and conflict. The 2nd house has to do with what we love and value. So perhaps you're going to have some type of conflict within your groups that you belong to, or with a friend, or any of the situations or people I mentioned at the beginning of this discussion. There will be a conflict between those two houses. This conflict could be about money, or you deciding to finally stand up to your friends or the groups that you belong to. When Mars is transiting the 2nd house, it makes you spend a lot of money. You have a lot of expenses. Some people are actually lucky enough to make a lot of money while Mars is there, but at the same time, you'll have a lot of money going out. So that is a conflict within itself. Or perhaps some of you will realize that they spent way too much money pursuing their hopes, dreams, and wishes, and now the bills have become due. Others could have spent a lot of money entertaining their friends or an elder sibling or a relative like an uncle, or for group activities. All this tension and conflict happening between those two houses could cause friendships to break up at this time. If you're unable to resolve these conflicts, there will certainly be some type of breakup or separation from a group. Aries, don't be surprised if you bump into an old friend that you haven't seen in decades or perhaps several years. This is very likely for your sign. Mercury transiting retrograde in the signs of friends will definitely bring back an old friend, or an old friend with benefits. Whoever comes up at this time, keep in mind there is the square aspect, which is hostile and conflicting and will cause arguments. So perhaps whoever comes back is coming back to settle an old issue, and it has to be resolved at this time, or not. Looking at the aspects, your ruling planet Mars is actually the one who's squaring Mercury. So you could be actually the person that's bringing this conflict. You could be the one that gets triggered. You could be the person that needs to control their temper. Others might find your behavior quite indifferent, contradictory, radical, aggressive, all things that are not expected of you. So you should understand that people will be surprised. Like, is this my friend? Perhaps not. Something is different here. Uranus is making you act quite unpredictable when it comes to your earning ability and how you value yourself or money. If this energy is affecting you very negatively and intensely, just keep in mind it's going to pass. However, it is a great time to still start some things that you've been planning to for the past year. Make sure to listen to the whole introduction. You might get more insights from the introduction. Taurus ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 10th house. This is an area where you're going to have some brand new beginnings, have some conflicts and challenges. All your angles are highlighted at this lunation. You are definitely going to be feeling this new moon very intensely and personally. Your ascendant is highlighted. That's personal. That's you. Your descendant is also highlighted. That's the others in your life. That's also personal. Your IC, your home, is also highlighted. That is very, very deeply intense and emotional. And all these angles are activating your 10th house, your midheaven, the highest point in your natal birth chart. The 10th house is a public house, so whatever happens in this house is seen by society or the public. You might start a new job at this time. Some of you will get a promotion at this time, and some of you will be starting a brand new job. And if things have not been working out with your boss, this might be an opportunity for you to start anew. There has been a lot going on in your 10th house, in your work area. This could have been affecting your marriage, your home life, and your personality. Others could say you've been acting a little bit unusual, perhaps even radical, because, of course, Uranus is conjunct your ascendant. The presence of Mars in your sign, along with Uranus, is going to make you act in an unusual way. Others will not see you as they used to see you before. Mars is going to leave your sign next month, but Uranus is here to stay for a few more years. So just keep in mind that people are not seeing you as you used to be. You are not the same person. Mercury retrograde in Aquarius is transiting your 10th house, and it's square your first house. This is the main aspect that's bringing all this confusion and conflict in your work area. With Mercury being retrograde in the 10th house, it could become useful if you have been out of work and you're looking for a job. This is the time that you should reapply for work. In the places that you have applied before, they might actually have an opening. Some of you will go back to an old place of employment. There might just be an opening for you. It's also very likely that some of you could bump into a former boss or an authority figure from the past. Your ruling planet Venus is conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius at this lunation. This is a very, very positive aspect. Venus and Jupiter are the benefics. Your ruling planet Venus being the lesser benefic and Jupiter being the greater benefic. You're one of those people who's going to be feeling very lucky. So perhaps things will work out in your favor eventually after some initial conflicts. Luck is on your side, Taurus. You could meet somebody new with this energy, or you could find the job of your dreams. Some of you will change your status through marriage. Another way to look at the Mercury square Mars, you could simply be fighting for a promotion, and with the positive energy of Venus conjunct Jupiter, it's very likely that you won't be passed over this time. So perhaps you will get that promotion. I would definitely stand my ground and fight for the promotion. And if you have some other negative aspects in your chart, unfortunately, this could be the time when some of you get let go, or you just decide that you've had enough and it's time to go. So some of you could actually quit your job at this time. Jupiter conjunct your ruling planet Venus could make you overdo things. So watch out. You're one of the signs who is very likely to overindulge at this time. Watch your food intake. Watch your intake with alcohol or drugs if you do that. Overindulging at this time will not work out in your favor. So make sure to set limits with everything that you do. Gemini ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 9th house. This is the area where you're going to have some brand new beginnings and perhaps some challenges and conflicts. The 9th house is the house that has to do with law, our higher belief system, foreign lands, and religion. You could have a new beginning with any of those things. You could have a new beginning in a foreign country. Some of you may be entering college at this time, while others will begin a career in teaching or law. For some, this new beginning could be in a foreign country. If you had filed for citizenship or you had filed for a visa to travel to another country, this could be the new beginning, you traveling to another country. If you've been having doubts about your religion or your higher belief system, this is the time that some people will make a big change towards a new belief system or perhaps a new religion. Mercury retrograde is transiting Aquarius, your 9th house. It is square Mars, who's transiting Taurus, your 12th house. This is the area of potential conflicts and arguments. This square aspect could bring aggressive actions from your hidden enemies. While some of you will have challenges and conflicts in foreign lands, perhaps involving documents. Since Mercury is your ruling planet, you might be the one who's actually you might be the one that's causing all this conflict. So try not to start trouble while you're in foreign lands or in places that you're not familiar with. When Mars is transiting the 12th house, we'll experience this as trapped energy. This is energy that you cannot use to defend yourself physically. With Mercury transiting retrograde in your 9th house, some of the things that could happen are you could forget your passport, your documentation, your visa, or your IDs. So make sure that all those things are in place before you leave your house. Also make sure you have enough time to get to the airport just in case of delays or mishaps. Mercury retrograde in the 9th house can bring back an old classmate or a professor. You could just bump into them while walking to the grocery store or something casual like that. Others could start rethinking their belief systems, an old belief system that perhaps is no longer serving who they are or who they aspire to be. So you might need to make some revisions or changes with your belief system. And if you had some other type of legal trouble, perhaps with the law or a lawsuit, it might have to be concluded at this time. So Gemini, if you need to initiate a project or make life-changing decisions, I suggest that you wait until Mercury, your ruling planet, is moving forward. That's after February 20th. Then you can trust what you're thinking and the information that you're getting. Another problem that you have is Mars in the 12th house. This will take away the ability for you to act in defense of yourself. I suggest that you wait for Mars to conjunct your ascendant. That way you feel invigorated, energized, and able to conquer anything. Mars is going to be transiting your sign sometime in March. When Mars transits the 12th house, it can make you suffer from insomnia. You might have violent dreams. You might be restless and anxious. And Uranus being in your 12th house along with Mars is going to make unpredictable and surprising events just happen to you from nowhere. As far as Mercury transiting retrograde at this time and decision making or initiating major projects, there is an exception to the rule. If your natal Mercury is retrograde in your natal birth chart, you can start projects, you can move forward simply because you're already accustomed to this energy. Another exception to that rule is if your Mercury is afflicted, that is, if it's receiving squares from other planets, this might not be this time for you to start anything. So in that case, you should probably wait until your ruling planet is moving forward and Mars has bestowed you the energy that you need to do the things that you have to. Cancer, ascendant, sun, or moon. This lunation is happening in your 8th house. This is the area where you're going to have some new beginnings and perhaps some challenges. There could be a new beginning with your partner's resources since the 8th house rules other people's money. Perhaps your partner is going to find a high-paying job at this time and will be able to contribute to the family and things will become easier. On the other hand, a partner could lose employment at this time and you may have to foot the bills by yourself. If you've been trying to get a loan, this could be the time that you get approved and you're able to make a new beginning at home or with your business. If you're single, this could be the time that you begin a relationship, a very deep, intimate relationship. If you've been having problems in your committed relationship, marriage, or other partnerships, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your situation, this could be because you've separated or divorced from a partner. This could be the time that you're splitting assets and you're beginning a new chapter in your life. The 8th house is the house where we keep our secrets. It is also the house of sex, death and rebirth. Some of you could have a new beginning, perhaps because a relative passed on and they left you an inheritance. Mercury is going retrograde in Aquarius, your 8th house. Mercury is squaring Mars, who's in Taurus, in your 11th house. This is a conflict and hostile aspect. So perhaps you're going to have conflicts or arguments about money within the groups that you belong to, or with a friend, an uncle, or an elder sibling. This argument could be about money or love. If it's about love, it could be because a friend with benefits. Others could experience this in a different way. Perhaps you spent a lot of money pursuing your hopes, dreams, and wishes, and the bills have become due at this time. Mercury retrograde is also notorious for bringing back old loves, old friends, or old business partners in your situation, and an old bill that perhaps you had forgotten about could resurface at this time, and it needs to be paid. You have a lot going on in your 8th house, and the moon is also highlighting this. The moon, your ruling planet, is part of this lunation, always part of every lunation. So you feel all lunations very intensely. Your ruling planet being conjunct all these other planets could be making you feel very insecure and vulnerable at this time. You could be worried about secrets being revealed. You could be worried about your intimate relationships, or it could have something to do with your taxes. Whichever way this plays out for you, Cancer, this is still a very, very powerful moment for you to begin something new. Start whatever you have to with confidence. It might be a rough beginning, but things will eventually work out. Leo ascendant, sun, or moon. This lunation is happening in your 7th house. That is your descendant and angle house. This is the area where you're going to experience new beginnings and perhaps some challenges. All your angles are highlighted at this time. You're highlighted, your ascendant. Your descendant is highlighted, your relationship, marriage area. Your MC is highlighted. That is your 10th house, your work area. And so is your home, your IC. They're all highlighted at this lunation. So this is definitely going to be intense for you. You are going to feel this very personally. Some of you could have a new beginning in a marriage, while others will actually decide to get married or start a committed relationship at this time. And if you're single, it's very likely that you have a new beginning in this area, so go out there and mingle. Others could decide to take a long-term relationship to the next level, either getting engaged, married, or perhaps moving in. Depending on what's been going on within your partnerships or your marriage, this could be a new beginning in that you decide to file for a divorce or get separated at this time. Mercury is going retrograde in Aquarius, your 7th house. Mercury retrograde in the 7th house is notorious for bringing back your exes. So don't be surprised if your ex calls you, texts you, or just simply shows up at your door. Unfortunately, because of the square aspect to Mars, this could be a moment of friction, arguments, and conflict. Maybe they were not happy with the way things ended and they need closure at this time. This is going to bring conflict between you and your current partner. If you're single and if you've been missing your old love, this is the perfect time for you to pick up the phone and call them. This might be your opportunity to restart a relationship. The retrograde motion could also make your partners start bringing up old issues, unresolved issues from the past hurts. Maybe you cheated in the past and they've never let it go. They'll bring it up again. So you might have to go back over these issues and settle them once and for all. Your ruling planet, the sun, is always a big part of any lunation. So you're always going to feel lunations very intensely and personally. The sun is conjunct the huge stellium in Aquarius, your descendant. Your spouse or your committed partner could have a lot of things going on in their life at this time. And this lunation is going to highlight all their issues. The conflicts that need to be cleared or dealt with at this time are not new conflicts. These are things that have been going on for a while. They're just being highlighted for you to finally do something about it. This is your opportunity to have a brand new start in this area of business partners, committed relationships, and your marriage. Whatever it is that you've been procrastinating about over the last few months, this is the time that you have to stand your ground and have that new beginning. Virgo ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 6th house. This is the area where you're going to have a brand new beginning, or perhaps some challenges and conflicts. The 6th house rules over our daily routine, what we do for exercise, diet, and our health. It also rules our work area, as in what we do for work every day, and our co-workers. If you've been out of work for a while, this could be a perfect time for you to find new employment. Some of you could be starting a new job at this time, perhaps also a new diet, exercise routine, and a new health treatment if you've had health problems. You could be starting a new chapter with your co-workers at this time. Those that have been having problems at their job with their employer, this might be the time that you decide to initiate a lawsuit. And if you've been having health problems, been on some type of treatment, and you're not feeling better, this could be a new beginning in that you decide to go to the hospital. Some of you will actually get admitted in the hospital for treatment. Mercury is going retrograde in Aquarius, your 6th house. Mars is transiting Taurus in your 9th house, and they're squaring at this time. This is a very challenging aspect that demands action. So this is the area of potential conflict and arguments. This square aspect indicates some of these new beginnings could be mandated, perhaps by the law or law enforcement. Perhaps you have to go to court for something like a ticket or some other type of violation. Other people could start rethinking their habits, their daily habits, which are detrimental to their health and well-being. Perhaps an incident that has to do with those things will finally push you to make a change to better yourself. Some people will have conflict with a co-worker about politics or the law. If you're one of those people that discusses higher belief systems, religion, politics, or the law at your job, this might be the time that you realize that that's not very wise, and you're going to decide to not talk about those topics at work. Mercury is your ruling planet, and it's going retrograde at this time. So you're not thinking very clearly. You don't have all the information that you need to make your argument stick. So essentially, you could be the one that instigating things and starting arguments. Just keep in mind that Mars is going to stand their ground, and they're going to fight back very aggressively. So choose your battles wisely. If you have important life-changing decisions to make, I suggest you wait until after the 20th of February, when your ruling planet Mercury is moving direct. You can make a better argument or presentation, or defend yourself effectively after that date. There's an exception to the rule though. If your natal Mercury is retrograde in your chart, then this retrograde motion doesn't make a difference. You could actually be very powerful. Also, you're going to meet an unmovable force. Mars is very resilient and stubborn when he's transiting Taurus. So I would essentially just still suggest for you to wait. Libra ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 5th house. This is the area where you're going to have a new beginning and perhaps some challenges and conflicts. The 5th house is the area of love and joy, creativity, and our children. So perhaps some of you will begin a new romantic relationship at this time, while others will have a new beginning with their children or with a creative project. This could be the time that others decide to begin or start a new business venture, a small business perhaps. The 5th house also rules sports, gambling, and entertainment. It is the house of luck. So some people will start something new in this area. Perhaps some of you will say, it's time for me to have some fun. And it could be. If you've been thinking about starting your family or having a baby, this is the time that you and your partner will decide that it's time for you to go for it. So go for it. Mercury is transiting retrograde in Aquarius, your 5th house, and Mars is transiting Taurus alongside Uranus in your 8th house. There is an exact square aspect of these two planets at this lunation. This is the area that's going to bring arguments and conflicts. These arguments could be with your romantic partner, your children, or something to do with a creative problem, with a creative project. Others could experience this as problems with intimacy. The 5th house is also the house of lovemaking, and so is the 8th house. It is the house of deep, intimate relationships. So there could be a conflict there, or it could be something to do with entertainment or children's projects and expenses, or perhaps a vacation and the money that's needed to fund those activities. So the 8th house is also the house of other people's money. So only you know exactly what is going on in that area. Things need to be ironed out. Perhaps an old lover, an old flame will return at this time, and you've been keeping this person as a secret from your current lover. This person is going to come back into your life and possibly cause conflicts. They're not coming back as a happy person. They have issues or past grievances that they need to settle or rehash with you. So make sure to keep your old lovers in check. They could ruin the relationship that you have. On the other hand, if you've been missing your old love, this will be a perfect time for you to pick up the phone and see if they want to take you back. This is a reconciliation that's not going to come very easily. They might have some old grievances that need to be settled. For others, this conflict could be because of a secret, a deep, dark secret that's been revealed at this time. Your ruling planet, Venus, is conjunct Jupiter in Aquarius at this lunation. You are Venus. This is a very positive aspect. This could bring a lot of love in a relationship or a lot of luck with meeting somebody new. You could fall deeply in love at this time. Venus is your ruling planet, so you have some power at this lunation. Just be careful to not overindulge. Don't overdo anything with food, alcohol, drugs, or drinking. Know your limits. There is a huge potential for overindulgences and the trouble that comes because of it. Keep that in mind. Since this is a lucky aspect and it is in the 5th house, you are very lucky at this time. You could win big at the casino. You could strike big with the lottery. So I would try and play, a few dollars here and there. Don't bet the farm or, spend your whole check or anything like that. You're lucky enough at this time that if you do it at the right time and if you have that promise in your chart, it's being activated at this time. The conjunction of these two planets at this lunation will help you smooth over any troubles that you will have within your relationships with your children, your business, or your creative project. Just be very careful how you handle things and how you handle anger coming towards you from other people. Scorpio ascendant, sun, or moon. This lunation is happening in your 4th house. This is the area where you're going to experience new beginnings and perhaps some challenges. All the angles in your chart are highlighted at this lunation. Your ascendant is highlighted, that's you, so it's personal. Your IC is also highlighted. It's deeply personal. This is exactly where the new moon is happening. So you're going to have all kinds of feelings going on at the same time at this lunation. Your relationship area is also highlighted, your descendant. Your 10th house area is also highlighted. Your descendant is your relationships, your committed relationships, marriage, or business partners. Your 10th house, your MC, the highest point in your chart, is also highlighted. This is your work area, dealings with authority figures, your bosses, and your standing in society. This is intense. There will be a new beginning in your home area, perhaps with your family or something to do with ancestors. Some of you will have an addition to the family, either through a birth or a relative coming to live with you. For others, the new beginning could be that you just recently bought a new house, now moving into this new home. So that could be the new beginning, a new home. Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius, your 4th house, and is square Mars in your 7th house, your relationship area. This is a very challenging and conflicting aspect. This is the aspect that's going to bring conflict and challenges to your marriage, between your home and your marriage, or your other committed relationships or your business partnerships. Mercury retrograde in the 4th house will bring up past issues of resentment, deep hurt feelings from childhood perhaps. These feelings will resurface and they will need to be dealt with at this time. Mars transiting your descendant is going to make your partner very powerful and aggressive towards you at this time. Since your partner is acting unpredictable, aggressive and hostile towards you, and you're already feeling intense and insecure perhaps because of all these planets transiting your 4th house, you might retaliate with some strong and harsh words towards your partner. This might be a big source of conflict. The new beginning in the home could be that your partner decides to move out. So be careful how and exactly what you say to your partner. So Mars, your ruling planet, is essentially very active at this time, but unfortunately he's giving power to your partners or your partnerships or your business partners. They have the upper hand. Your other ruling planet, Pluto isn't involved in this lunation. You could use this opportunity perhaps to get away on a solo vacation, a short solo vacation with your children, because you will at least still be getting along with your children. Or you could release some of this tension through lovemaking or a creative project, if your partner is still agreeable. There is still a potential for healing in your committed relationships. You just have to use your charm and be careful what you say and how you say it to whoever is bringing any type of conflict or arguments. Now, this is a Valentine's Day to impress and woo your partner. This is the Valentine's Day to go big, because you're probably in trouble, and if you go big, you might be able to kiss and make up. Sagittarius, ascendant, sun, or moon. This lunation is happening in your 3rd house. This is the area where you're going to have new beginnings, perhaps some challenges or conflicts. The 3rd house rules over our immediate environment, our neighbors, our siblings, our learning skills, and our short distance travel. It also rules over technology, things like our phone, our cell phones, and our computers. So you are one of the signs that actually has to watch out for losing information. Make sure you back up everything. Make sure you read and reread your text before you press send. There could be a new beginning with the way you communicate with your neighbors or with your siblings or with other people in general. This new beginning could also be that you get a new job, really, and you have to travel for work to another town. If you've been planning to start a YouTube channel, this will be the perfect time for you to do so. If you're an aspiring author, this will be a perfect time for you to start writing that book that's been stuck in your head for so many years. Others could have a new beginning with a neighbor or a sibling. Others could also move to a new neighborhood. So it's also possible that you learn a new skill, a new language, and perhaps you'll actually decide to go back to school and learn a trade skill or something like that. Mercury is going retrograde in Aquarius, your 3rd house, and is square Mars, who's transiting your 6th house. This is the area where you could find potential for arguments and perhaps some other type of conflicts. These conflicts could have something to do with your work area. Perhaps you're doing perhaps you're doing something radical and something totally brand new for work, and you find a problem with how you're doing it. Perhaps you need to brush up on some skills so that you prevent accidents or mishaps. Others could experience this through their car breaking down and they're unable to get to work on time. That's bringing problems with your employer. Others could have a heated argument with a co-worker. Mercury going backwards is probably bringing back old issues that you had with people in your work environment, or perhaps with your daily routine, your diet, your health, medication, or your health. While others could be feeling very sensitive because they're remembering issues from childhood, perhaps things that went on with a sibling or even a neighbor. This might be the time for you to resolve these feelings through some type of therapy or some type of health or some type of medication. Your ruling planet Jupiter is conjunct Venus at this time. You're the greater benefic and Venus is the lesser benefic. This is a very positive aspect. This is going to make you feel that you have a lot of support and love, perhaps from a childhood friend or a sibling, or things regarding third house things and communication could start going your way. So it's very likely that if you meet with any challenges, any arguments, your ruling planet conjunct Venus is going to be able to smooth things over. This aspect could also make you very lucky with financial dealings and business at this time. It's also very likely that you could bump into the love of your life right in your neighborhood. So be out and about. Others could also have a lucky break if they've been looking for employment. This could be the energy that brings you that dream job. And this also tells me that things are going to work out. They might start out very bumpy and intense, but the end result is going to be in your favor. Just watch out for overindulging with sweets, food, alcohol, or drugs. This is the time that you will go overboard. So know your limit and keep in mind that there are consequences with overindulgence. Capricorn, ascendant, sun, or moon. This lunation is happening in your second house. This is the area where you're going to have brand new beginnings and perhaps some conflicts or challenges. The second house is the house that rules over what we do to earn a living. It is the house of things that we love and value, and perhaps our family. We do love our family. However, this family is the type of family that you create with another person, or your friends that you love so much and they become like family to you. There could be a brand new beginning with how you make your money. There could be a new beginning with how you earn a living, as in you'll get a new job, or others will sign a very beneficial contract at this time. This will make you feel good and your self-esteem is going to be raised because of this ability to support yourself financially. Some people will start feeling so good about themselves. They'll start feeling confident about the services they provide. This could have some of you start questioning if you're getting your money's worth. So some people will decide to raise the prices for their services. Mercury is going retrograde in Aquarius, your second house, and is square Mars in Taurus, who's transiting your fifth house. This is a very challenging aspect and is going to bring conflict, perhaps with children, a romantic partner, or you're going to experience some problems or delays with a creative project, or with something to do with entertainment. Mercury going retrograde in the second house, unfortunately for some, it will bring feelings of insecurity about yourself or your ability to make money. It could also bring back an old bill that is due and has to be settled at this time. If you have a love triangle going on in your relationships, you're going to experience some conflict and arguments regarding this. Maybe an old lover is going to return and they're going to be very combative, hostile, and aggressive. There is a huge potential for a huge blow up, a huge fight over here. Your partner is acting very aggressive. This could possibly start making you feel insecure also. And if you have children, they might be acting very mouthy and aggressive towards you at this time. It might be time for you to discipline them. Saturn, your ruling planet, is a big part of the stellium in your second house and also a big part of this lunation. Since Saturn also rules the sign of Aquarius, this is going to give you some power at this new moon. You have some control here. All the planets who are in Aquarius are in a sign that you rule. You also rule Aquarius. This is why I say you have some control over your financial destiny and what you allow people to do to you, or what you allow people to say to you. And Mercury, that is in conflict with Mars, is transiting in a sign that you rule. So you have the power to say whatever you need to whoever is challenging you at this time. You can stand your ground. It's time to make decisions about your financial future, perhaps even things to do with your family. Uranus and Saturn are going to come to an exact square on the 17th of February. This is a very uncomfortable square. I did mention it in the introduction, so if you didn't listen to it, I suggest you go back and listen to it. You have some power here. Actually, you have more of the power because you are in a sign that you rule, and Uranus is in a sign that he doesn't like to be in. So whatever this square brings, it's going to be something that you have some control over, and it's definitely something that's been going on for a while. Capricorn, it's time to make some very uncomfortable decisions. If you don't make those decisions are going to be made for you. This square aspect is demanding action from you. These uncomfortable decisions could have something to do with love and money and the whole direction of your life. Remember that you cannot make everybody happy. Capricorn has to start looking out for Capricorn. Aquarius, ascendant, sun, or moon. This lunation is happening in your first house. This is where you're going to experience new beginnings, challenges, and perhaps some conflicts. The first house is the ascendant. This is you. This lunation is about you. It's very personal. All the angles in your chart are highlighted. The ascendant making this lunation very personal. The IC, your home area, it's going to affect you on a deep internal level. Your descendant, the relationship sector, that is your marriage, your business partnerships, and other committed relationships. It's also going to affect your MC, that is your 10th house, your work area, your bosses, and other authority figures. A lunation in the first house is very powerful. It's an opportunity for you to change almost anything in your life. This has to do with you, who you are, and how you're seen by others. How do you want others to see you? Some will begin a new diet at this time. Others will change their name. Others will decide to go for plastic surgery to enhance a part of their body, and thus enhancing their image and self-esteem. All these planets are conjunct your ascendant. They're making you very anxious and restless, and you're feeling very intense at this lunation. This is definitely the time for Aquarius to begin a new chapter in their life. For others, the stellium in the first house could be felt very intensely and physically for some. So if you're having heart problems or you're feeling anxious, perhaps it might be time for you to talk to someone or seek some treatment from a doctor. Mercury is transiting your sign and is moving retrograde and is in square to Mars, who's transiting Taurus at this lunation. This is the reason why you're going to have some challenges and conflicts. They're going to involve these two houses, your first house and your fourth house. You could be feeling very conflicted within yourself, within your heart. Mercury going retrograde in your fourth house is going to dig up past issues of insecurity, resentments, or hurt feelings from your past, like your childhood, or issues that you have unresolved with your mother, your family members, or something to do with your ancestry. You're reevaluating all these issues. You're going over past things that may have happened. You're reliving hurtful moments. This might be truly intense and upsetting for you. Let's talk about your ruling planets, Saturn and Uranus. Saturn is transiting your ascendant, and he's in charge of all the other planets that are conjunct in your ascendant. This is making you very powerful. Even though you're feeling somewhat insecure because of what Mercury is bringing up from the past, just remember, you're in charge. All these planets are in your house, so you give them direction. Uranus, your other ruling planet, is transiting the sign of Taurus. He doesn't like to be in this sign. You want change, you want radical change, and Taurus does not like to change anything. Taurus is also a fixed sign, just like yours. So to recap, Saturn is powerful, and he's transiting your sign, his own sign that he rules. Uranus is your other ruling planet, very unhappy, transiting in Taurus. These two signs are going to come into an exact square on the 17th of February. So mark this date. You're going to be feeling all sorts of nervousness, anxiety, and just plain uncomfortable, because this is like you fighting yourself. These are your two ruling planets at war with each other. Aquarius may have to make some real uncomfortable decisions about the direction of their life. The issues involved could have to do with your home, your family, your mother, a relationship, a business partner. Some of you could have things going on in your work area. Others could be rethinking their living situation because of a new job or because of a relationship. Just remember that you can't please everybody. Aquarius has to start looking out for themselves. Pisces, ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 12th house. This is the area where you're going to have a new beginning and perhaps some conflicts and challenges. The 12th house is a hidden house. This is the house that rules over our past karma, our hidden enemies, our self-sabotaging habits, isolation in places like the hospital, prisons, or just self-isolation at home. Perhaps something like quarantining at home alone. Some could have a new beginning because of the pandemic. You may have to self-quarantine. Some people could have a new beginning working in a hospital or a prison, while others could be going to the hospital to get treatment, or others could be going to prison. It just all depends on the aspects in your natal chart. But this is definitely a beginning of some type of isolation. Others could have a new beginning with spirituality, a new religion, or perhaps the new beginning could be in a foreign land. The 12th house is also the area where we do things behind closed doors. Others could have a new beginning in a hidden love affair. Others could start working on a project behind the scenes. Something that could be presented to the world when there's a new moon in Pisces next month. Mercury is going retrograde in Aquarius, your 12th house, and is square Mars, who's transiting Taurus, your 3rd house. This is the area where you're going to have challenges and conflicts, perhaps even some heated arguments. Mercury going retrograde in the 12th house will probably bring back an old enemy, a hidden enemy, and there could be some harsh words exchanged. Perhaps you have some unsettled issues. Others could return to a foreign land that they visited in the past. Others could start to escape in their mind through fantasy, journaling, or dreams. If you used to meditate in the past, this is also a time that you could start to meditate and perhaps get some spiritual healing through that. Unfortunately for some, this could also be the time that they restart old bad habits like smoking, drinking, and drugs, and other self-sabotaging habits like a bad romantic hidden affair. Since affairs and lovemaking are usually done behind closed doors, this could include anything that could be done behind closed doors. So choose your vices wisely. Your ruling planets are Neptune and Jupiter. Neptune is separating from a square to the karmic nodes in Gemini and Sagittarius. If you've been feeling confused and delusional or loss of self-identity, you're going to see the truth and you'll be able to really see who you are and where you want to take your life. Jupiter is currently conjunct Venus at this lunation. This is a very lucky aspect. So you're feeling very good about yourself and you're feeling lucky. If you're traveling in a foreign country, it's very likely that you meet the love of your life at this time, or you just feel very lucky while you're traveling. Just keep in mind to know your limits. This aspect could make you overindulge in whatever vices that we've already mentioned. So there are consequences to overindulging. Just keep that in mind.